Maps are a fantastic way to communicate spatial data, and lucky for us, Power BI has loads of awesome mapping visuals to choose from. In this video, I walk through the key steps to help you get started using MapBox in Power BI. I'm Alice from DiscoverEI, and I'd have to say I'm a pretty big fan of MapBox. So the first step is to add the MapBox custom visual into Power BI. In my report here, what I want to show is a map which shows the community scoring of different waterways across postcodes in Melbourne. So just note that this data is completely synthetic and I created it specifically for demonstration purposes. You can see here that I've already imported the MapBox custom visual. However, if you haven't imported it yet, then you can easily head across to AppSource and search for it on the marketplace. So let's create a new MapBox visual and just fit it to the canvas here. And I'm going to start by adding in the latitude and longitude coordinates of our different postcodes across Melbourne. So now you can see that MapBox has brought up some really good information to help us get started with some pretty detailed instructions and showing you a couple of different MapBox styles. But the first thing we need to do is to get our free access token. So in order to do that, we first need to have a MapBox account. If you already have a MapBox account, then go ahead and sign in. Otherwise, we can quickly set up your own account. So I'm going to set up an account for my company, DiscoverEI. So we just have to enter in the username, email, and password. And with so many different passwords out there these days, I always use Dashlane to try and store them all. It's really handy. So the next step is just to verify your email address, and then you're all set. And you can see we're in the MapBox account here, and we can just copy our access token. And then we can get started by creating our circle map. So we're back in Power BI now, and let's head across to the Format pane, and under the Viz settings, you can see we can paste our access token in. And now we've got a map showing our postcodes across Melbourne. So it's not a very exciting map, it's pretty basic here, but let's play around with some of the map properties and make it look a little bit better. You can see here we can change our map style, and in a future video I'll show you how you can create your own custom styles, which is really cool. You can play around with different settings like the auto zoom or the MapBox controls, and also the label position. And then under a couple more settings, we've got the geocoder here. So that's that little search bar you see at the top where you can type addresses. And you can see that we've got a circle map selected. So there's lots of options under here as well. Let's change the color of our points here to make it stand out a bit better. And you can see we can also change the highlight color as well if we want. But what we want to show here is really the community scores across our postcodes. So I've just dragged in the average score, which is a measure, into the field well. And heading back into the format options, I'm just going to update some of the colors here. So we can see a bit of a color ramp to assess the average score across the different communities. So let's just finish cleaning up this map a little bit more by turning off the title and also adding a nice border here. So you can see now that we've got a pretty nice map showing the average community scores of different waterways across Melbourne. But these points, they actually represent postcodes. So I think it'd make a lot more sense to visualize them as regions. And we can do that in MapBox by creating a Choropleth map with our own custom tile sets. So here I have a shapefile of all the postcodes across Victoria. And heading back across to my MapBox account and navigating to the studio, there's an option here under tilesets to actually upload a new tileset. So what exactly is a tileset? It's really just a collection of raster or vector data like shapefiles, GeoJSONs, which can be styled for different zoom levels. So my postcode regions are actually a shapefile, So I'm going to zip up this file, and now we can just drag it into MapBox. So you can see that that's uploaded, and clicking on the link, we've got our vector data hosted in MapBox now. So now we're ready to create our own Chloropleth map for our postcode areas across Melbourne. So we're back in Power BI now. Let's select our map and remove these coordinates, and now drag in the postcode as our location field here. So you can see that something looks like it's not quite right, and that's because we still have the circle map selected. So let's change it to Chloropleth. And a Chloropleth is pretty much just an area map, for those of you who haven't come across it. So you can see there's a couple of default data sets here, but what we want to do is add in our own custom tile set. So we need 3 different parameters here. So the first is to get the vector tile level. So that's this tile set ID here. And you can try and copy it like this, or much easier, just hit the copy button. That copies it to clipboard. So just be a bit careful here. We still need the MapBox URL. So let's delete this second half and paste our new tile set URL in. Perfect, so we can see that that's worked because it's actually zoomed to Victoria. The next piece of information is we need this source layer name. So let's copy that and we'll paste it back in here in the field well. And then again, we need to get our vector property. So this is the field name from our attribute table in our spatial data set, which matches up with our data model. And that's it. So now we have a custom map of our postcode regions across Melbourne. And it's all interactive. We can filter our report based on different slices or selections. And you can see in just a couple of minutes that you can create a really powerful looking visual. So let's just finish this off by updating our data colors. So I'm going to set the minimum and maximum ranges here, and then just adjust the data colors just how we had it before in our circle map. So this was just a really quick introduction to how you can create some powerful maps using MapBox in Power BI to visualize all kinds of different data. Over the next couple of videos, I'll go into some really cool features of MapBox and show how you can create things like 3D maps, create your own custom styles and backgrounds, and create drill downs to reveal different layers of insights. If you're keen to learn more about Power BI, then make sure to get in touch with one of our team at DiscoverEI and register for our online Power BI Designer Masterclasses. Or for those enviros out there, then check out our Power BI for the environmental industry tailored training courses. Have fun, and thanks a lot for watching.